From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Hi, my name is Cathy Kerst. I'm a folklife specialist and a cataloger here in the American Folklife Center. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the Northern California WPA folk music project that was collected and organized by Sydney Robertson Cowell. She was an amazing woman in her mid-30s. She had already done lots of field recordings in the Resettlement Administration and the Farm Security Administration. But in California, she decided to ask for funding from WPA with support from the Library of Congress to make recordings of English language and foreign recent immigrant recordings in California, which was quite remarkable at the time. It was 1938 to 1940. She hired about 20 people from the relief rolls that she handpicked, people who knew various languages and so on, and who could help her find people in California. And she recorded 35 hours of recordings. She also had the draftsmen and the photographers take photographs and do sketches of all the foreign musical instruments. And she wrote incredible progress reports to the WPA. I'd like to read a little bit from this one. This is written on January 20th, 1939. She traveled to Monterey and Carmel to pick up contacts that she had made. As she says, there were two men, one Spanish Basque and one Mexican, who had just left for a month's work at Treasure Island, so she couldn't record them. There were two Spanish women who had planned to record but had just lost their mother and didn't feel to sing, she says. There was a Norwegian in bed with the grip. Then there was a Mexican who went into the hospital the day she arrived with a fractured skull due to his having been mistaken for a strike breaker by some fishermen's union members. And then Mrs. Garcia, the most interesting source of material, with material from Spain, who was temporarily inarticulate because she just had all her teeth out. What's fascinating to me about this is that she documents the whole process of doing field work, trying to find people. You have a list of people you think are going to be able to sing this and that. You go there and it doesn't work. Though at the same time she recorded many, many hours of recordings from about 18 ethnic groups.
That's right. You know, and that backdrop is so important. The people that weren't able to go, or the fractured skull and the strikers, kind of tells you the what's really going on. More detail.
Exactly. That kind of texture is really incredible. And then she writes about it, which is even better for us as, you know, folklorists and so on.
That's right. Yeah.
And here are photographs that were taken. For instance, these are Armenians. Mr. Bakalian, Mr. Bedrosian. There's a couple here, the Goshtigians, recorded. And
there's a lot of musical instruments.
Amazing musical instruments, Armenian, Portuguese, Icelandic, Hungarian, just incredible range, which was really, this kind of recent immigrant recording had not been done that much by ethnomusicologists and folk music collectors at the time. So she wanted to hear what people were singing at their parties, in their homes, and then she documented them through the field reports, through letters, through photographs.
And do we have the music?
Actually, this whole collection is online. 35 hours of recordings, about 160 photographs, the drawings, sketches of the musical instruments.
That's a lot of material.
It's an incredible collection.
Do we have the actual lyrics to the songs?
For many of the songs, the WPA staff did transcriptions. So we have those in Portuguese songs, Spanish songs, a lot of English language songs.
That's right, you were showing me some of the musical scores.
Exactly.
Then if we wanted to play the music with those instruments, we just read those scores.
You could, I suppose, yeah.
You could bring it all back to life.
Exactly, exactly. So her correspondence also, much of it is online, and it's letters to people about how she went about finding people. She would go to somebody's barber shop and not find the person she was hoping to record, and then hear upstairs that there was somebody playing some instrument, go knock on the door and make a recording. So that kind of immediacy you get from her.
So she was in the moment all the time.
She certainly was, yeah.
And with all the equipment, is there a lot of equipment?
Well, a big recording machine, a Presto instantaneous recording machine.
Like a backpack or?
Well, it was bigger than that. Yeah, there's stories about how she had a hard time finding a power source. And actually, the Library of Congress supplied the original 12-inch acetate discs that were recorded. And so the originals were sent back here to the library that we still have.
So she's a hero.
Seems like it, yeah, yeah.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.